Hey friends, I want to chat with you today about something I've actually been wanting to talk about for quite a while. Prior to starting the business that I do now, I owned a home care agency, and I want to chat with you a little bit about that. But I really wanted to talk about why I would sell a corporation with 50 plus employees and do a network marketing. It's bad. Do a network marketing business selling nutrition and skincare. Hey, Laura. So I'm going to make sure, Laura, is this connection good before I share any more? Because I'm excited to share this with you guys. When I first learned about the business that I do now, I was actually a school teacher. So I didn't own a brick and mortar business. I was a teacher. I actually quit my teaching job. I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I was replacing my income in my network marketing business. And how I fell into corporate ownership was actually through the family business. So in 2012, I inherited, she said I'm breaking up some. The only bad thing about online businesses is you've got to have good internet. But the good thing is it's not that big of a deal. So in 2012, I inherited a home care agency, and it was the family business, and it was my mother's dream. She had built up this business, and she loved it. And I fell into ownership when she got sick and passed away. And by the time I gained ownership, it had, oh goodness, I'm not going to share exact numbers, but we were about a fifth of the numbers we were when she was in ownership. Just slowly over time, things had gone down. So when I left my network marketing company, at that time in my business, I was not growing it online. So the business I do now, social media was not an option. In 2012, it existed, but no one was building online businesses. Everybody was doing it through home parties, belly-to-belly business. So when I moved over to corporate ownership, I left a network marketing company doing my business that way. I didn't completely quit. I still stayed with the company. I still stayed a consultant, but I stepped back from the business in order to run the family company with a goal to build it back up and sell it. So what happened is over those next 5 years, I got to really experience what owning a brick and mortar company, a company that ended up having over 50 employees. I got to experience the low of the lows and the high of the highs. And I made a decision that for me, that was not where I wanted to be. There are some people that love that. So I want to chat with you guys about what a brick and mortar business, a corporate business, starting a business looks like in that regard versus a network marketing business or an online business. And just give you guys a lot of food for thought and a lot of experiences that I had and why I chose to sell that company, walk away from everything that I had with it, start rebuilding my network marketing business. Now, one of the great things is I did leave my company as far as an activity level with network marketing, but I never quit. So I still had residual income come in that whole time. So the whole time that I owned my home care agency, I still was a consultant with my company. I still had residual income. I still had customers buying. I just wasn't out there putting the time in to build because I was refocusing my energy on the family business, my responsibilities there. And honestly, I really didn't know in the beginning if I would want to stay with the home care agency or if I would come back to my business with my network marketing company. So here's what I learned, and here's what I want to share with you guys. When you're thinking about starting a business, I can't decide for you if you want to start a business. I can't decide for you if you need extra income. I can't decide for you if you need another stream of income in addition to what you're already doing. But what I can tell you is lots of people are looking for a way to make extra money. And there are options out there. So, I remember thinking like, do I want to do a business? That's my Roomba. Do I want to do a business with kids? Do I want to own, this was when I was still teaching. Do I want to own some kind of preschool? Do I want to own some kind of daycare? Do I want to own some kind of whatever it is? Do I want to, I had sold other network marketing companies. I had sold kids' toys and I sold cheap skincare stuff. And do I want to do something like that? In college, I had made hair scrunchies and I did fake nails and there's all kinds of ways to make that extra stream of income. But when you're really looking for big income, people typically look at, I'm going to start a big business, or maybe they look at an online business for the long-term residual. So before I talk a little bit more about my experience in my company, I was really motivated to get out here and share this with you guys, because here I am since January rebuilding my business, doing it all online, right? I'm taking my network marketing company, I've moved it online, I'm doing it completely differently than I did it before. While at the same time, Jeremy is starting a business, and I think they've been doing it for like a year and a half. And they're really getting into, they do like distribution and service. And I honestly don't know what the business is. I know it has a lot of potential, and I know it costs a lot of money. And I know that they can like sell stuff to companies and they can do work for companies. But let me tell you what I've learned through this year and a half journey of him choosing to start this business. It's hard work. When I took over the home care agency, I didn't start it from ground level. So I'll share with you the experiences I had throughout the time, but I didn't start it from ground level. One of the things he said to me recently, and I made it in my notes, he went to a meeting and they were trying to bid on a job. And he said, the thing that sucks is there's 4 people there and only one of us are going to get the job. And I started thinking immediately, that's not how my business is. In my business, if 4 people want to start, I can start all 4 of them. And if 4 people want to go to the top, 4 people can go to the top. And if 4 people don't want to work, 4 people don't have to work. I was like, there isn't that. You're as prepared as you can be. You've done everything you need to do. You're going to go bid out the job and you may not get it. That was a huge difference for me right away. Another thing he said is we have 0 guidance and we have no roadmap. He's like, I get in to fill out these forms, and he's like, it doesn't even tell me if it was submitted. And I was like, that's not like my business. I just did a call with my upline, and she got me and 3 of my team members on, and she was sharing our very simple system for success. It's very outlined. If you need it visually, if you need to hear it, if you need to see it, we've got it all. It's literally like, do this, then this, then this. He's like, I have no clue what I'm doing. And I'm like, gosh, that would be so hard to just start that way. The other thing he shared with me not too long ago is his workers' comp and liability insurance bill that came in. This is something I can relate to big time. When I was running my home care agency, one of the things that I think I didn't realize was the cost of doing business, even when you have no business coming in. Does that make sense to you? If you're watching this on the replay, drop the word replay below. I forgot to say that in the beginning. But does that make sense to you? In most businesses, there is an overhead. In order to even break even in my home care agency, we had to have 12 clients just to break even. And these weren't like $10 an hour or $10 clients. It was a lot of money coming in to break even. Okay, so when he shared with me his workers' comp bill that came in, and I was like, oh my God, is that for a year? He's like, no, that's for a quarter. And I'm like, how in the heck do you have that big of a bill for liability and workers' comp when you're a brand new business? And yeah, they're bringing in a certain amount. So we started talking about that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I had my workers' comp and liability was, $12,000 a year for one and like $18,000 a year for another. We were writing $1,400 a month checks to one and $700 and something checks a month to the other. So how much is that? Over $20,000 a year just in insurances and workers' comp in case something happened. Granted, that will grow. That number increases based on how many employees and how much payroll you're doing. So then the best part was every year when I wasn't tracking it and sending off each month, when I would get a big $4,000 bill due at one time because our payroll had increased, so now workers' comp increased. I don't have to have any of that stuff anymore. So, as he's been starting his business, I'm like, holy moly, these are things I literally have to think about. None of this. In a network marketing company, you typically have a sign-up fee. You need to get some products because you should probably use what you're selling. But what I'm drinking, I was going to be drinking from Diet Pepsi instead, and now I'm drinking my company's products. So I'm shopping with myself. I don't have workers' comp. I don't have liability. I'm using the internet that I already own, but now I can write it off. These are just little things. All right, let's get to my company. One of the things that if you're a brand new person walking into a business and you're like, well, I am going to start a dog rescue. I don't know what you're going to start. That'd be a nonprofit. I'm going to start a hair blowout bar. Isn't there something like that coming into town? Do you know what the cost of even starting a business is? It's insane. Even if the business upstairs of my old office was a tiny space. And just to remodel the space, the girl above me, before Jen, the girl above me, paid $50,000 just to redo the space for her fitness place. And it wasn't a big workout studio. $50,000. In a business, they say it takes 3 to 5 years to show a profit, typically. So do you have enough money to go start a business? Can you not make money in that business for 3 to 5 years? I know in my home care agency all the time, we were getting offers to get debt. It's like, here, you qualify for this. And that is so easy to want to do. But I was insistent on we're not going to incur debt to build this business. So I applied a lot of what I knew about people and how I grew my network marketing business. And we just started a lot of relationship building, a lot of network meeting. And that's how we chose to grow, was organically. Most companies don't do that. They've got the billboards and the business cards. And I mean, we kind of stayed like a little cute home care agency for a while and had to really make it known that we were serious because we didn't have all those big things that people had. Let's talk a little bit about a whole pyramid scheme thing. So people say, well, I'm not going to start a network marketing business because it's a pyramid scheme. Do you understand? You've heard this before, right? So they're like, oh my God, you guys, I am on so many groups. And if somebody's like, I'm trying to think of something I can do from home. And then people are like, oh, I sell on Etsy, or oh, I do virtual assistant, or oh, I do VIP kids and I teach, kids in a different country how to speak English or something. All these things. And then someone says, I do this company and it's a network marketing company. People are like all over that, like scam, don't be taken by one of those, yada, yada. And I'm like, why? I don't get it. This is smart business. So like, it's a pyramid scheme. I'm like, what does that mean? What does pyramid scheme mean to you? So they say a network marketing business is a pyramid scheme, right? So what they say is if I can go sign up a bunch of people, I'm set. That's what people think it is. They think it's a pyramid scheme. You rope people into coming in. They come in, and now you can just sit back at the beach. It does not work that way. An illegal pyramid scheme may work that way. Network marketing is not an illegal pyramid scheme. It is a viable, legitimate business. So I will tell you that I did my business very successfully. I moved up to the company car level. I was doubling my teaching salary when I took over the home care agency. When I walked away from my network marketing business, I did have income. But slowly over time, my income went down because I was not continuing to stay active in my business. I have passed up the person above me. In network marketing, you don't just get to ride your team. You don't just get to be successful by doing nothing. So I did over time lose all my levels, and now I'm rebuilding that. This is a business, you guys. I don't get paid and become successful just by signing up a few key players. Those people don't have a clue what to do unless I'm investing in them and teaching and training them and working with them. You know what looks more like a pyramid to me? Just saying. I had this home care agency, okay? And it used to be my mother's, so I inherited it. So now I'm the CEO, right? So now here I am on the top. Right underneath me were 4 office staff. Put them on that level. So now I have 4 office staff right here. Underneath those office staff, we had some lead caregivers, and then we had some lead caregivers. They were like on-call people. They had a little bit of a higher role over the main caregivers. And then down here we had 50 plus. So say we have 4. We might have had 4 there. 50 plus employees working out in the field, okay? Now, no matter how hard these 50 people worked, and they worked hard, and some of them were amazing employees, no matter how hard they worked, first of all, there was a pay scale that stopped. So I addressed all the time with people who said, can I have a raise? I've been doing this. I've been here this long. And I would have to look at numbers and profitability and say, this is all I can do. And then we would try to do all the extras we could with incentives, or we could give to our employees as much as we can from our time, or we try to give our timeshare for vacations, but there was only so much financially I could give to them. No matter how hard these 50 people worked, they were stuck at a certain hourly pay range. That was it. That's all I could do. Then you've got these lead caregivers, they got to make a little bit more. And then you've got the office staff, and then you've got me at the top. No matter how hard any of these people worked, these 50 people were not going to become one of these office staff people. And these office staff people were not going to become the CEO. This, to me, corporations, and this was a small one. This is a small corporation compared to what you can go talk about with big corporations. But this is how they work. There's a CEO at the top. There's executives. You work all the way down to your staff. But this is how, in my mind, you could think more of a pyramid. Y'all are doing a job for somebody else. Most of us were. And no matter how, I remember being a school teacher, and no matter how hard I worked, no matter how good of a teacher I was, and this is a true story, the teacher that came in and just handed the kids crayons and a piece of paper for the art lesson and called it 30 minutes of art didn't make any less money than me, even though she did less effort than me. She was contracted on a scale. That was the pay she was going to get. I was contracted on a scale. That was the pay I was going to get. So why do you think sometimes people just float through? Why do you think they just get by? Because they don't see a way to get up here. They cannot find a way to get to the top. So in my network marketing business, that was one of the biggest things. I remember with the home care agency, first of all, it was never my dream. So you have to be following your passion, and you have to know at the end of the day, you're doing what you're called to do. And I was not called to do home care. So I knew I was not serving well my office staff, my employees, or our clients if I stayed there forever. But I knew I was meant there for a time. So I made the most of my time there. Ultimately, I knew I wasn't supposed to be there. Now, why did I come back to network marketing? Because one of the things I saw in those 5 years was I saw hardworking, deserving people who wanted more, who went and got second jobs, who took out payday loans, who were calling for gas money. They needed more than I could give them, and I had nothing more I could give them. In network marketing, I don't know what your scenario is. I don't know if you're a man, if you're a woman, if you're a stay-at-home mom, if you're a doctor. When you need that extra, this can be your extra, and it can be anything you want it to be. It can be super small, or it can be thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, because it does not discriminate. You don't get to come in and you don't come in and I get to say, sorry, you're limited here. I say your limit, your potential, there is no limit. You guys, the 3 people we just did a call with, I don't know what they'll do in this business. What I do know is what's possible. Okay. So let's talk a little bit more about a couple other differences. When you start a business and you decide to invest financially, that's not the only cost that comes in, right? So I want you guys to think about when you start an online business, maybe something like I've done, and this was huge for me. This is how I always described it when I decided to come back to my company. There are no fires in this business. It is not life and death. It's gonna be okay if somebody's skincare arrives on Tuesday instead of Monday. What we're doing is fun and fabulous, and we're building health and we're building wealth. We are not, in my home care agency, we are not literally sitting with people at the last minutes of their life. We are not having to sacrifice our own time being a brand new stay-at-home mom, or brand new mom with a 5-week-old, getting a call that somebody called off work and having to get up and leave our home and go to work at 5 a.m. This does not happen in my network marketing company. This happened all the time in my home care agency. Now, all businesses are different, but if you own a daycare and it's 6 to 6, Monday through Friday, great. You get the weekends and nights off, but do you really? How early are you going in? Who are you filling in for? What are you having to stay late for? What are you going in for on the weekends? I remember the cost of the pay, like what it cost me to be able to run that company versus what I was being paid. I literally said, it's not worth it. I said, Nobody could pay me $10,000 and make me want to answer these on-call phones this weekend. I was done because I was no longer tied to the paycheck. I realized the cost that it really came at. So I couldn't go out of town for a weekend because I owned my company. I went out of town one time and somebody called off work and we went through 32 employees and nobody could fill in. And I literally thought I was going to have to drive 5 hours and go fill in for work. I called one girl back and I was like, you have to go, please. This does not happen in my home care or in my network marketing business. There are no big fires like that. Okay. So anyway, financially, there's a cost. The time it takes from your family, it's a different cost. In my network marketing business, I am in 100% control of my schedule. Yes, we have some deadlines. July 31st at midnight, there was a deadline. Got to have all your sales in. But you choose how late you're going to push that, right? So I've gotten better to not push it till the end. But I don't have a boss calling me and saying, hey, why didn't you show up at 12 o'clock? Nobody knows what my schedule is. I create it. You guys, I just wanted to share a little bit about that. I want you to understand when it comes to the cost of starting a business, a network marketing company is extremely minimal. And I am a huge believer in the potential of it because, people will say, how many people really make it to the top in network marketing? How many people really make it in their businesses? Seriously, if this is what you're comparing it to, and you say, I'm going to go start a network marketing business, or I'm going to go invest money and start my dream Subway franchise, do what you're called to do. Do not mishear me there. But think about that. What is it? 75% of franchises close in the first 2 years? Did I just make that up? Sounds good. Something crazy. And essentially, that's kind of what network marketing is. It's kind of like a franchise without all the risk, right? Everything's already set up for you. Your company has done all the marketing. Your company has all the products. Your company incurs the returns when there's a return. You have a return privilege. Your company has set up the system for success for you. You pay a little fee, and now you go to work. Whereas in franchises, you pay a big fee, and now it's all set up for you. It's kind of the same, similar if you want to think about that, without all the cost and without all the liability. Liability is a whole nother thing. I know some of my friends own big businesses. I also know some of my friends don't make any more money than I make. They just look really big the same way I did when I owned that home care agency because they had a building with a sign and they had employees that showed up to work. But I know the insides of a lot of those businesses, and they're stressed out owners, they're ticked off employees, they're disorganized finance, QuickBooks, payroll messes. They are tired because what they thought they bought is not what they bought, and now they're stuck. And they don't have an option because without this business, without making money in this business, and actually that's how I ended up owning the home care agency. My mother got sick. It had dwindled down, and it was so down that we couldn't even sell it. We owed more than we would make selling it. So my only choice was to go rebuild it. And we did that, and we did it successfully. And I just looked honestly at the end of my life, and I was like, if this is what I do forever, I'm not going to live the life I want to live. And I know what a network marketing company looks like. I know what the potential is. I do not believe that it's only reserved for the few at all. And if you do, we need to talk because it is not. This network marketing company is not reserved for only the 5 little special people who can get to the top. The only difference between the people that I know that made it to the top and the people that I know that are not making money is they didn't quit. They stayed consistent. When people didn't show up, they kept showing up. When you own a brick and mortar business, if you forced yourself to work a network marketing business the way that I had to work my brick and mortar business, I think that we would see a whole lot more successes in network marketing. I think the downfall is you didn't invest $50,000. You did not put your house up for collateral. My mother signed her house on the business. When you do that, you're going to work, right? In network marketing, you pay a $49 fee, so what do you really have to lose? I think that's kind of the hardest part, and that's why you see so many people that sign up and they don't get very far. So financially, let me just share with you, I'm not going to tell you all my numbers, but I worked, when I took over that home care agency, and I was rebuilding it, so I was not building it from scratch. We had 12 clients, 17 employees when I took it over. So we had a good starting point, right? We were pretty much at the break-even point, so we were not profitable. Nobody was making $1, but we weren't negative. So I was already way ahead than most people get to start their businesses when they start a corporation or a big brick and mortar business. I know for sure the first year, my whole family, between 4 of us, when I took over, made $6,700. And we worked for a whole year building that business. The employees got paid. The office staff got paid. Between me and my dad and my 2 siblings, we made $6,700 that year. The next year, and I'm talking working, a home care agency, serving employees 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, going to work. The next year, I know I made $10,000 because I remember what I paid on taxes was on $10,000. And that was now 2 years into my business. I've made a total of like $11,500. And I've worked like blood, sweat, and tears, out of my comfort zone, network marketing meetings galore. I don't get to sit in my sunroom and ramble with you guys. I'm out there, making connections with people and doing all the things. Third year, I know by year 4 and 5, we were very profitable. By year 3, I think we might have been at the point where I was like, yeah, this might be like close to my teaching salary, I think. And then year 4 and 5, we finally were starting to see profit, and that's when I chose to sell, because then it was sellable. So let me just tell you, in a network marketing business, go look at the compensation plan. That's my due diligence. I have to say that. Everybody's different. But when you do a network marketing business, sky's the limit. You decide how hard do you want to work. You create your paycheck. You decide how many people you're going to share it with. You stay consistent, and our income levels go anywhere from $200 a month to 5 and 6 figures a month. And I know way too many people like that I can touch and talk to and call and all the things for anybody to tell me it's not possible. So when you think about how many people really truly have the opportunity to go build a brick and mortar business, even start a gym down the road, the cost, the liability alone, the headache, the stress, you guys, the stress of when is a tax form due? Did I do payroll correctly? Is my bank account going to overdraw? I can't tell you how much stress that I no longer have by doing this kind of a business instead of the business I had before. Thank you for all of you who do these type of businesses, because we need them. And I'm not saying that they're bad. I'm just saying, for me, this is why I chose network marketing. We need people running Walmart and Dollar General and DK. We need y'all. Don't leave if that's what you're called to do. And some people financially are able to do that. And some are risk takers and they are comfortable doing that. I am not. For me, this is a fit for me. For me, it is the way that I can say to the doctor or the lawyer or the stay-at-home mom or whoever it is, I can teach and train you to do what I do. It's simple. There's no risk. It's easily duplicatable, and it's open to all. So, hey, Stephanie. Anyway, so I just wanted to kind of give you guys, I've had a lot on my mind, but I didn't know how to share it, and this probably wasn't the most effective way, but that time in my home care agency, there's experiences that I won't ever be able to replace. I grew in ways that I never knew I would grow, but there are reasons why I'm never going to go back. I'm never, ever, ever going to be a boss again, ever. I will lead 1,000. I don't want to be a boss of 1. I don't enjoy that role. I love working with my team and knowing that we can all rise to the top together. And I am not a manager of you guys. I am not going to have to tell you like, hey, why are you not at work? It's 6 o'clock and you're supposed to be there at 5:45. I am so over those phone calls. I am over, I can't even think of what it's called, wrongful termination. I am over talking to unemployment office. I am over all the things. So now in this business, if people want to work, they work. If they don't, they don't. And I work with the ones who do. And I'm going to the top, and you can too. So, all right. Thanks for listening to me ramble. I hope that it was helpful in some way, and I will talk with y'all later. Bye.